Hi Year 2, it's Miss Addy. Our learning question for maths for today asks us, can I order objects according to their length? Our steps to success say, I can measure and record the lengths of different objects, I can compare each object's length, and I can order objects using the language longest and shortest. Our first star word for today is the word length, which is what we've been learning about this week. We also have the word measure because we have been learning to measure the length of objects. We have the word centimetre, and centimetre is a unit of measurement that we measure length in. We have the word order, and that is part of our learning question for today because we are learning to order objects from the longest to the shortest. So we will be using our comparing words that we thought about yesterday, words like longer, shorter, longest and shortest. Yesterday we learnt about comparing lengths of objects. When we compare the lengths of two objects, we can add ER to the end of the word. The snake is long. This snake is longer. But if we want to compare the lengths of more than two objects, we need to add EST to the end of the word. This snake is the longest. Long, longer and longest. These are all words we can use to compare length. If we compare the heights of two objects, then we can add ER. This tree is tall, but this tree is taller. But if we wanted to compare the heights of more than two objects, we can add EST. This tree is the tallest. Tall, taller and tallest. These are words we can use to compare the heights of objects. And don't forget that when we compare the lengths of objects and the heights of objects, we need to make sure that they are lined up against one another, that they both have the same starting point so that our comparing is fair and equal. So today we are thinking about comparing and ordering lengths. So we will need to use those words we learnt from yesterday: short, shorter, shortest, long, longer, longest. Take a look at these three pencils. They each have a different length. We're going to order them from the shortest to the longest. Can you point to the pencil that has the shortest length? This pencil has the shortest length. Let's label it as number 1. Point to the pencil with the longest length. This pencil has the longest length. Let's label that as number 3, which means this pencil will need to be labelled as number 2. Pencil number 2 is longer than pencil number 1, but shorter than pencil number 3. Have a look at these 3 hot dogs. We're going to order them from the shortest to the longest length. Point to the hot dog that has the shortest length. This hot dog has the shortest length. Let's label it as number 1. Point to the hot dog with the longest length. This hot dog has the longest length. Let's label that as number 3, which means we need to label this hot dog as number 2. So hot dog number 2 is longer than hot dog number 1, but shorter than hot dog number 3. Have a look at these 3 rulers. Each of them has a different length. We're going to order them from the shortest to the longest. Point to the ruler that has the shortest length. This ruler has the shortest length. Let's label it as number 1. Point to the ruler with the longest length. This ruler has the longest length. Let's label it as number 3, which means we need to label this ruler as number 2, as its length is in between number 1 and number 3. Ruler number 2 is longer than number 1, but shorter than number 3. Here are 3 pens, and each of those has a different length. Pause the video now to have a go on your own at ordering them from the shortest to the longest. Well done if you managed to have a go all by yourself. Let's have a go together now. This pen is the shortest, number 1. And this pen is the longest. Let's write number 3, which means this pen needs to be labelled as number 2. Pen number 2 is longer than pen number 1, but shorter than pen number 3. Have a think back to yesterday's lesson when we were comparing lengths. Can you remember which symbols we looked at yesterday to help us compare lengths and heights of objects? Well done. It was the less than sign and the greater than sign. These are 2 special symbols in maths that we can use to help us compare numbers or amounts or values. I wonder if we can use what we learnt from yesterday when we were learning about comparing lengths and heights using the less than and greater than symbol in today's learning whilst we're learning about ordering lengths. So could we compare and order lengths at the same time? Here are our 3 pencils from earlier that we ordered. Let's order them again from the shortest to the longest length. Long, longer, longest. What we need to do now is we need to choose whether we're using the greater than symbol or the less than symbol in between each of these pencils. Pause the video and have a little think. We're using the less than symbol because the first pencil's length is less than the next pencil's length. You might remember these 3 hot dogs from earlier that we ordered. Let's order the lengths from the shortest to the longest. Long, longer, longest. Again, we need to decide whether we need to use the greater than or the less than symbol in between each of these hot dogs. What do you think we need to use? Great, we need to use the less than symbol again because the first hot dog, that hot dog's length is less than the length of the next hot dog. Here are our 3 rulers that we compared earlier on. Instead of ordering them from shortest to longest, let's switch it up now and let's order the rulers from longest to shortest length. Longest, longer, long. Now we need to decide which of the symbols we're going to use. Should we use the greater than symbol or should we use the less than symbol? This time we've used the greater than symbol because the first ruler, that ruler's length is greater than the ruler next to it. Here are the 3 pens that we ordered earlier on. Let's order the pens from the longest to the shortest length. Longest, longer, long. Again, have a little think about which of our symbols we should use. Should we use the greater than symbol or should we use the less than symbol? Great, we're using the greater than symbol again because the first pen on the left, that pen's length is greater than the pen next to it, and that pen's length is greater than the pen next to that. Your task for today, Year 2, is I'd like you to order each set of 3 objects from the shortest length to the longest length. And a special challenge for today is I'd like you to pick 3 objects within your house or school and order them from the shortest length to the longest length. You could give yourself an extra challenge by using the greater than symbol or the less than symbol. Enjoy your task, Year 2. Goodbye.